Hey everyone, hope you're having a great start to your week. I'm jumping on today just to go over a little product storage knowledge in case you're not sure how to store all of your Elleebana product. So some of this may be a little refresher for y'all. Never hurts to get reminded of it and the best way to store a product. Some of it you kind of may have forgotten. I know I didn't realize all of this when I first started lash lifting years ago. So this is definitely vital information that you're going to want to remember. So as far as storing our product, what we're going to talk about are our sachets in our box, both opened and unopened. And this goes for the Profusion system and the one-shot system. And then we'll also talk about our glue or our adhesive for lash lifting. So the first thing I want to tell you is whenever you get these boxes in your shipment, hi Kelly, whenever you get these boxes in your shipment, you're gonna wanna stick them straight in your refrigerator. Hopefully you guys all have either a full-size fridge or those cute little mini fridges they make nowadays that you can just put like skincare products and stuff in. They're really inexpensive, so if you don't have one of those, you can like order them on Amazon, I think, and they're like this big, they're tiny. So you can have a fridge, and you just wanna make sure it is temperature regulated. So Elleebana protocol is to store both opened and unopened sachets between 4 and 24 degrees Celsius, which for us here in the US is going to be between 39 degrees and 75 degrees Fahrenheit. Now, a lot of y'all are probably thinking your rooms don't get above 75 degrees Fahrenheit, so you could just leave them out. But let me tell you what could happen, especially if you do facials, if you do any kind of body waxing, sugaring, anything like that, where like there may be steam involved in your room, or just like the heat from the wax warmers or the lights if you work in a salon, the temperature can really fluctuate. And so what we want to avoid is that temperature fluctuation. So it may not really get above 75, but you want to avoid temperature fluctuation as much as possible to keep your products stable and as fresh as they possibly can be for as long as they should be. So that's why we want to keep them in the temperature maintained fridge, and make sure you have a temperature reader in your fridge. Most full-size refrigerators are going to have that nowadays. If you don't have one, they're like $5. Again, on Amazon, just grab a temperature humidity reader. And you can regulate that. So Fahrenheit, we want to keep it between 39 and 75 degrees. Never below freezing. You never ever want your product to freeze, ever, okay? So that's how we're storing our unopened product. In the fridge, you can just stick this box directly in there and pull them out as you need. Now, if you only use half of your product in your packet, what we do is we date them. So you could write the date that it was opened. This one was open 5/15, so it technically needs to be thrown away, but this is just an example. These are good for 24 hours once opened and when stored correctly. That's key. They have to be stored correctly, okay? So if you're only using half of your little packet, what you can do, date it, put the date that you used it, fold it over and try to get a nice tight crease, and then we just put a paper clip on it, make sure it stays folded, stick it in your little airtight storage. This is just like a little Tupperware, and then I'm sticking it back in the fridge. And this is good to use on lashes or brows for 24 hours. Or if you're keeping this for patch testing only, you can actually keep it for 2 weeks and use it for patch testing only. So you would just want to mark it as patch test only, and you can keep that in the fridge for 2 weeks. But definitely keep this in the fridge. You want to keep it airtight. I have seen some people say they use a sealer to reseal them, the little packets after they're opened. We don't do that, and my only concern with that would be that it could add some extra heat to the product, and so it could really throw that product stability off. So I have found, and Kelly, you're on here, correct me if I'm wrong, but I have found that just making sure they're folded over really tightly, put like a paper clip or a little gym clip on them, and then make sure they're put into an airtight container in the refrigerator is great storage for 24 hours. No need to reseal them because either way, you've already exposed them to air and you're gonna have to toss them if you don't use them in that first 24 hours anyway. So those are for both the Elleeplex Profusion and one-shot system. Now, one important fact, if you've been using the Profusion system, hi Courtney, for lashes or brows, let's talk about the difference in that and one shot. One shot I can take directly out of the fridge and apply it onto the lashes, no problem. Like, it can be cold, doesn't matter. The difference with the Profusion system is it actually uses heat, whether it's our body heat, whether you're using a hot towel or heated eye pads, wherever your heat source is coming from, it uses heat to activate. So you do have to let this get warmed back up just to room temperature before you apply it to the lashes or brows. Hi, Mindy. So back to room temperature. So what I've found, if I take my 2 little packets out, my step 1 and step 2, when I come in or when I'm prepping for my next client, 30 minutes prior, it's already at room temperature by the time I'm ready to apply it. So it's no big hassle at all. You should already be getting it out to set up. You just want to make sure that that Profusion system warms back up to room temperature before you use it. Whereas the one shot, you can use it straight out of the fridge, no issue. So if you guys have any questions on that, definitely leave them in the comments. I'll be sure to go into that a little bit further and why we do that. The last thing I wanted to go over is the adhesive, so the Elleebana adhesive. You'll see some people putting their glues or their adhesives in the fridge, maybe even the freezer, to keep them fresher longer. We want to avoid that. Any kind of condensation that gets into your lash lift glue, because our adhesive, our glue, is water soluble, it's gonna ruin that whole tube of glue. So I recommend keep it out of the fridge. You don't want to chance any moisture getting in there. As long as you're keeping it sitting upright for the regular twist tube, sitting upright. I like to keep mine in a dark temperature regulated space where it doesn't get too hot or too cold. That's perfect. You just don't want to risk any kind of condensation getting in there, which is also why we want to twist it. If it has the twist top or the squeeze tube, twist the tops on really tight. Make sure no moisture can enter. So no fridge for that. Only fridge for our little sachets and our boxes. And if you guys have any questions about any of that, feel free to ask. I'm here to answer all your questions. And then if you have questions about lash extension adhesive, we can go over that at a later time too if y'all are interested. So let me know what else you need in the comments. But I hope you guys have a wonderful week, and I'll see you again later. Bye.